G'day tubers, how are we people? Hope you are all well. Thank you to my subscribers, my viewers and anyone else who contributes anything at all. Well, here we go on this Wisconsin AENLD. This is off a Cranville excavator. And as you can see by the pictures, these were made back in the, I think, 60s and 70s when Cranville was still going. And this motor that I came across, you've seen it, it actually came off one of these machines. And I did a little bit of research, and lo and behold, I found the machine that the motor came off. Now, it was a guy in Croydon was selling it, and he sold it to someone, and I bought it off someone. So the engine's got a little bit of history, but yeah, as you'll see, it's going to be a bit of a project, this one. But anyway, let's hook in, guys.
Well, guys, this is the next one and last one, because once I've done this, I'm out of engines. I've got to find some more. Wisconsin AENLD, built under licence by Ronaldson Brothers and Tippett in Australia, Ballarat, to be precise, in central Victoria there. Yeah, this one is off, well, as you saw at the start, off a Cranville excavator. It was supposed to be a goer. It seems pretty down on compression, hence where the guy that was selling it, not the guy I bought it off, this is a previous guy, said it seems to be a bit down on power. Now, that could be anything, but it doesn't feel like there's much compression. It's all there, but, oh, the manifold I had to pinch to get that red one over there going. But this is interesting. Have a look at this intake manifold, or intake on the head. That's broken. Looks like someone's had a go at repairing it. That also had a bit of tube in it going right through and right out to assist with the repair. It's got like a glue or a mastic on it or something. That bolt hole there is totally flogged out. If you look at the original size to what's there, so that's totally had it. She's a bit rough, this one. It's had this bit of wire that was wrapped around the fuel intake to stop the carby falling off, because the clamp around that wasn't tight enough. It's not hard to understand. Look, a lot of these machines in those Cranvilles, they were contractors, you know, plumbers, whatever. They'd do anything to keep these machines going so they could, you know, meet their contracts and make $1 and so on and so on. But sometimes the repairs were questionable. She's got a damn good spark. You could light your cigarette off the spark. It's also got a hydraulic pump. Don't know if it works or not, but we might try and power something hydraulically. But because this motor has that manifold, and that's a real repair to fix that. I mean, anything can be fixed, but I don't know if I've got the expertise or the equipment to do it. But what we have got is this second block, which is exactly the same model, which is in not bad condition. Now, the plan is to make one good one out of the two with a bit of luck, but that's going to depend on a few things. Do the bores measure up the same? If not, I'm going to be in trouble, so on and so on. So the first thing we're going to do is we'll take the cylinder head off this one before we strip it right down, and just do a little bit of measuring of the cylinder and see what we've got. If not, yeah, I don't know what we'll do with this engine, because that's a hell of a repair to fix that. And depending on what you know, if it's down on compression and that, it may need rings and so on and so on. So we'll take the cylinder head off anyway and have a bit of a look. Cylinder head's off, guys. No big dramas there. All appears fairly serviceable. The piston's got a little bit of slap in it. You can hear it sort of going from side to side. As I say, the plan is not to use this crankcase or block. We want to use this one. So, looking at it, if we drop that piston, oh, the magneto just clicked off. I've cleaned up those edges a little bit. Now, this isn't the right tool for this, but it's all I've got. If we get the vernier I'm trying to do this one-handed, guys. Get the vernier, and this is only going to be rough, but it's going to be near enough because I have no internal micrometers. So if we sort of get that and lock it up, we get a measurement of about 81.3 or 4 millimeters, according to that. So if we go to this one, well, that drops straight in, and we do the same thing. We get 82.2. So what did we have? 81.3. So it's nearly 0.8, of a millimetre, which is if we close this gap up and go to 0.8, there's 0.8 of a millimetre, guys. That's a hell of a lot of a gap, and I think it's too much, considering that these rings in this one are probably worn. What we'll do is we'll pull it down and we'll see how hard it'll be to get an oversized piston for this one, and then maybe think about getting it bored out. I'll see what the costs are and go from there. If it's going, I mean, bear in mind, I got 2 of these and 2 other engines for $50. You know, that's probably about all they're worth. But Wisconsin's you don't seem to see too often. But yeah, all right, we'll pull it down and see what we come up with. You start discovering a few things, guys. This is the hydraulic pumps off this one. And that's driven by that keyway there, which all looks quite serviceable. And keyway on the end of the pump looks serviceable. If you come round to this one, have a look at that keyway in there. That is completely flogged out. That wouldn't work at all. So this is where I say it might be a case of making one good one out of 2. Well, that's motor number 1 down, guys. I didn't show you all the disassembly. It's pretty self-explanatory. You've seen one, you've seen them all. That's hopefully the donor block. I've tried the piston in it. Yeah, really slack. It will not work. Way too much loss of compression. But I'm looking to getting an oversized piston and getting that bored. Either that, or I've got to try and somehow fix that manifold. Don't know yet. We'll keep going. But I've got to do something with the crank. That crank's not bad. That one crank in that one's had it, but this one's all right. So yeah, we'll keep going. Found this bit of paper in the second one, guys. The Courier, Ballarat, Saturday, January the 12th, 2008. Maybe this one's history lies around Ballarat somewhere, who knows? Well, tubers, as you know, I wanted to, you can hardly see it, the sun's shining on it. I wanted to rebuild the other one, because this one's got the broken intake manifold. Yeah, the pistons, well, that piston will not fit. It's way too loose, so I thought I'll get an oversized piston from the States. The piston and ring set's about $250, plus about 50 or 60 postage to Australia. Plus you got to turn that into Australian dollars. By the time I get this thing bored and the piston fitted and all that, I'm probably looking at about $600. I'm not paying that. This motor's just not worth it. I wanted to utilise it because of the hydraulic pump, because it's got the special crank. We're going to try and rebuild this old one as it is. Just, you know, a couple of new bits here and there, but the old piston and that, it was going apparently. We've got spark, and yeah, we'll see what we can do. But the first thing is, if I can't repair this, I'm not doing anything with it. So the plan is I'm just trying to clean this up, not too much because, well, I mean, I'll clear it where I'll weld it, but I don't want to remove too much of this because you get a certain amount of mechanical lock in that. So I'm just trying to get that sitting nice. As I say, if you smooth it all out, you lose that sort of where it was fitting advantage. So the plan is I'm going to try and MIG weld it. I don't know if it'll work. I'm going to JB weld inside there, if you can see up in there. And I'm going to also fill this hole with weld and re-tap it and see what happens. I mean, look, if it doesn't work, then it's a fun little exercise anyway, but that's the only way this block's going to get saved. I'm not spending huge bloody hundreds and hundreds of dollars on these engines. Christ, I got 4 of them for $50, and it's not like I need them, so it's just a bit of fun. We'll see what happens. So far so good, guys. Welded that piece back on with MIG. Put more weld inside, and I've just ground all that back. You can't really see it. I've ground all that back. It's quite smooth. Can't see any daylight through anywhere. Not only do we want to join the metal and have it, you know, reasonably solid. It's not a huge structural problem, but you know, it's got to support the carby and that sort of thing. We also want to be sure that there's no vacuum leaks. This is on your intake. If it sucks air anywhere, it's going to lean out the mixture and you may have trouble tuning the motor. It'll always run line. And also on the other side, in there, what we'll do is we'll put JB weld on the other side. I couldn't get the MIG in there. But we'll put JB weld in there and that'll seal it up. Just drilling a pilot hole now, and I'll tap another hole, original size and thread, and we might be lucky. We'll see how we go. Always something to bloody test, you guys. Welded that, as you know. There's just a little bit of a low spot there. Anyway, I'll put a bit of Celastic on the gasket, and that'll build it up. Trying to drill this, it's as hard as you like. Took the edge straight off the drill bit. I don't know how well you can make that out. Gonna have to find out the best way to drill hardened steel. You know, do you need a special drill bit, a real hard bastard, or slow speed, or lube? I don't know, so I'll look into that, but yeah, it's getting there, but yeah, it's going to be, well, if it's hard to drill, it's going to be hard to tap. So there's 2 issues there. Well, the best laid plans, guys. Went down, got a super hard drill bit to drill that out. Yeah, managed to drill it out, no worries. Started tapping it, and it cracked that corner piece out. So I thought, right, I've had it with this. That one can be a bolt, and this one can be a stud. I'll just cut that off to length, and that'll bloody do. I'm not overworking this. I mean, it's, you know, I think I was lucky to get away with the repair on that, and then that corner went. I just thought, stuff it, it can be a bloody stud, and yeah, as I say, I'll just trim the head off to length when I put the intake manifold on. But yeah, look, we'll continue with this one. I think we'll get away with what we've done anyway, and a heap of paint and a bit of this and that, and we'll be all right. Now for part 2 of the equation, guys. Not only was the intake flange there broken, the bloody manifold was broken as well. So we're going to try the same trick. We've ground it back a bit in there, so we've got a bit of a valley. We're going to try and MIG it once again and try exactly the same trick. God only knows where I'd ever get one of these manifolds, so yeah, it's just, she's fighting me, this one, but we'll keep going. Didn't come up too bad, guys. It's joined. As I say, a bit of paint and all that, you'll never know. Appears to be fairly flat. Can't see any holes in it. As I say, it's the same scenario as that. We don't want any gaps because it'll suck air. Lean off the mixture and make it very hard to tune. So yeah, so anyway, we'll test fit it and see what happens. Well, there it is, guys. She's on. Pulled up tight. Oh shit, I forgot that bloody JB weld wasn't sorry, that JB weld wasn't dry yet. I hope I haven't ruined it. Oh no, it still looks all right. Yeah, as I say, a bit of paint and just a little bit more dress up work, that'll be fine, but they both pulled up very tight, which is fine. I mean, it's only supporting the carby, so it's not a structural thing. I will have to cut a good thick gasket to take up any irregularities. I'll probably use a little bit of sealer as well. Trim off that bolt a little bit just so it's a bit neater, and as far as that goes, it should be all right. Well, seeing as our manifold repair went all right, we'll start on the carby. We're going to, once again, just clean it up. It's a Zenith 28G. On first inspection, that little needle is missing the little bit of bar in it that makes it easy to turn. That's just the drain. I'm pretty sure. All appears to be there. Yeah, looks okay. It should clean up all right. Yeah, everything looks okay on it. A bit of brass, we'll polish that up. And, give her an ultrasonic clean. And probably put a new spring there. That looks a bit cruddy. Anyway, we'll see what happens. And yeah, go from there. Always check these banjo fittings, guys, because usually there is a little mesh filter in there. You know, just sits in there like so, or around the bolt. And yeah, it's the sort of thing you could miss easily. And then when you go to bloody run it, she's blocked up and she don't go. So just check them. It only takes a second. Well, I don't know when the last time this was opened up. There you go. Needle and seat there. This gasket looks all right. Oh, that Venturi comes out. Look at that. Yeah, that comes out. Gasket looks okay. Yeah, we might be lucky there. There's the float assembly. Quite clean in there. Doesn't want to come out. Doesn't matter, we'll get it. And there's an emulsion tube there. A couple of jets there. Yeah, pretty straightforward. Fairly easy, guys. Take photos, guys, if you're not sure. See those two air bleeds? They're the two jets out of them. They're clearly different. They go in that order. So, yeah, just make note of these things. Well, carby parts are all clean, guys. We'll start reassembly. The top of the carby, I suppose, or whatever you want to call it, the throttle part. Butterfly and shaft. Clean them up, make them nice. Put a little bit of oil on the shaft, and yeah, away you go. Throttle plates in, or throttles in, guys. Just make sure it moves freely, doesn't bind. The last thing you want is to be stuck on flat out. Throttle linkage is on, guys. Idle speed screw. Yeah, all appears to be working okay. We'll keep going. Can put the needle and seat in. Put your fuel line pickup or input, whatever you want to call it. Banjo fitting. Put some new fibre washers on it just to make sure it's all sealed up. The old ones are a bit, you know, getting on a little bit. So yeah, put some new ones on. Doesn't hurt. Choke butterflies in, guys. Just obviously put it back the way it was, and check for freedom of movement. Yeah, pretty simple. Put your emulsion tube in, guys. Those two air bleeds, and the same way they came out. Main mixture jet. Screw it until it stops. You can sort of see the bottom of the seat in there. Don't do it too tight, and turn it out about 1.5 to 2 turns. That will get you started. just got the float and that, and pretty much ready to put the top back on. Well, there it is, guys. Carby's done. Yeah, come up all right. Should work okay. We'll find out soon enough once the motor's all back together.
See you in part 2, people.